Lead me gently, oh Father, lead me gently home. When my soul's sorrowed and parting days have come, then the Lord shall tell me, never be alone. If thou lead me, Father, lead me gently home. Lead me gently
Good morning and welcome to Focus on the Bible presented by the Eastside Church of Christ in Scottsboro, Alabama. Before we get to today's program, we want to begin by inviting you to our services at Eastside this morning. We meet at 9 o'clock for worship, followed by Bible classes for all ages at 9:30, and then at 10:30 for a second period of worship, where we sing songs of praise, hear from God's holy word, and partake of the Lord's Supper every Sunday. On Wednesday evenings, we meet at 6 for Bible study. We'd love for you to come and visit with us soon. And now your host, Aaron Andrews.
In Proverbs 22 and verse 6 we read, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." There's something incredibly tender and humbling about standing up and admitting this simple truth. I want to be a good parent. It's not a declaration of success, not a boast of mastery, but rather a prayer, sometimes whispered with joy, sometimes cried in frustration. Lord, help me. I want to be a good parent. Proverbs 22 verse 6 is one of the most quoted verses about child rearing, and for good reason. It offers direction and hope that if we train up our children the way that they should go, when they are older, they won't depart from it. But how do we do that in today's world? How does that actually look like? I think many of us have asked what works. We've all tried, failed, retried, and leaned on the wisdom of others. But some challenges today are entirely new. My parents never had to worry about Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, or Google searches. I rode my bike without a helmet until dark and no one called the authorities. Today, I'd probably get arrested. So what are we going to do? This morning I want to offer encouragement, insight, and biblical guidance on how to be a faithful parent in uncertain times. Not perfect, but faithful. Not flawless, but intentional. Not finished, but always growing. Let's look at three major principles from God's Word. First, let's start here. How do you picture parenting? Some of us view it like a final exam. We stress and cram, hoping that a burst of intensity can compensate for what we didn't do daily. When college is looming or bad behavior suddenly escalates, we think, okay, now's the time to fix everything. But real parenting doesn't work that way. Parenting isn't cramming, it's farming. Jesus described the kingdom of God in Mark 4 using a farming metaphor. He spoke of scattering seed and patiently waiting as the earth produced its fruit. First the blade, then the head, and the full grain in the head. That's how kids grow too. First steps, first words, first mistakes, first breakthroughs. It's a process. Farming is slow, deliberate, and continuous. You don't throw seeds in the ground and yell at them to grow. You weed, water, tend, and wait. So if you're frustrated because your child hasn't gotten it yet, take a deep breath. Growth takes time. A parent's work isn't finished in a day or a weekend seminar or even one well-timed radio program. It's the 1,000 small touches, the lunch packed with love, the story before bed, the correction in the car, the shared laugh in the kitchen. You are planting seeds, and someday, God willing, you will reap. Secondly, we need to understand that we need to adopt God's parenting style, which is relational, not just authoritative. Everyone has a parenting style. Maybe yours is strict or soft or something in between. But I want to offer the most important model, God's. God doesn't parent us with iron fists or absent indifference. God parents through relationship. In Exodus 19, before God gave Israel the 10 Commandments, in Exodus 20, He gave them a relationship. He reminded them that He bore them on eagle's wings and brought them to Himself, that they should be to Him a treasured possession. That's how God starts, by saying, I love you, I delivered you, I want you close. Rules without relationship lead to rebellion. Let that sink in. Rules without relationship lead to rebellion. It doesn't matter how sound your discipline is or how biblical your principles are. If your children don't believe you love them, those rules will fall on deaf ears. But when rules come from a place of connection, trust, and love, they begin to take root. In Jeremiah 31, God says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness I have drawn you. When God corrects us, He begins with love. When He warns us, He does it with tears. So what does that mean for us? It means our homes must be filled with love. Not just love in theory, but love expressed. Hug them. Praise them. Say, I love you, even when you're frustrated. Tell them what they're doing right, not just what they're doing wrong. Let your home echo with affection and joy. And be available. Just like God never hides from our prayers, don't hide from your children's needs. Put down the phone. Turn off the game. Look them in the eye. Listen, not to respond, but to understand. We reflect God's love when we prioritize presence over perfection. Finally, let's talk about relational parenting in action. How do we become relational parents like God? First, look for the good. Be a good finder. In Matthew 3, verse 17, God says of Jesus, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Think about that. Jesus hadn't done miracles yet. He was just starting His ministry, but God was already affirming Him. How often do your children hear you say, I'm proud of you? If you find yourself correcting more than praising, maybe today is the day to reset the balance. Your children need to know that they matter, that you see their effort, and that you believe in them. Secondly, be physically affectionate. Don't underestimate the power of a hug. Studies show that teenagers, even those who pretend not to care, still crave parental affection. A pat on the back, a quick shoulder squeeze, or a kiss on the forehead can say, you are still my child, you are still safe. Number 3, be available. Psalm 139 reminds us that there's nowhere we can go to escape God's presence. Shouldn't our children feel the same way about us? Can they come to you with anything? Are you the one they turn to when life feels upside down? Number 4, be a listener. James 1 verse 19 says, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. That's not just marital advice. It's parenting gold. Now, there are 2 barriers to real communication. First, taking over. Jumping to fix everything before your child even finishes talking. Don't do that. Learn to let them talk and let them finish talking. And secondly, minimizing. Making them feel like their problem isn't important because it's just 6th grade puppy love. Don't minimize their problems. Their world is smaller than yours. They've been around not as long as you have. And so things that are a big deal to them, but not to you, are a big deal to them. Let them talk. Let them cry. Let them vent. Listen like their words matter, because to them, they do. Number 5, love your spouse. Even though this isn't a marriage lesson, your marriage preaches a louder sermon to your children than any Bible class. In a world of broken homes, show them what a godly, loving, stable marriage looks like. Proverbs 31 verse 28 says, "Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her." Children who see their father praising their mother are more likely to respect and cherish her too. Love your spouse openly and consistently. It anchors your home. In the time we have left, let me give you some key things that I think will help us do that. First, we need to build family identity and make lasting memories. God gave Israel traditions like the Passover, not only to remind them of his faithfulness, but to anchor the family in shared memory and identity. Do you have rituals, traditions, weekly routines that say, this is who we are? It doesn't have to be fancy. Maybe it's Friday night pizza and movie night. Maybe it's camping each summer or volunteering together. What matters is the message. This is our family. This is our story. This is where you belong. And don't underestimate the power of memory. One father said he was glad they spent their money on family ski trips instead of bathroom innovations. He said, "I've never heard my kids say, 'Dad, I sure miss our bathroom fixtures,' but they talk about those ski trips all the time." Also remember that your children are uniquely yours. No one knows your kids like you do. Not the parenting expert on the podcast, not the author of the latest bestseller. God gave you your children because he knew you were the best person to raise them. Judges 13 tells the story of Manoah, who, upon learning that his wife would bear Samson, didn't ask for a show or a vision. He asked, "Teach us how to raise this child." That's the humble spirit we need. Parenting isn't one size fits all. What works for one child may not work for another, so extend grace to yourself and to other parents too. We're all figuring this out as we go. Let's help each other instead of judging each other. Finally, choose your battles wisely. Romans 14 talks about matters of indifference. Paul's point? Don't divide over things that don't matter eternally. And as parents, we should ask, is this hill worth dying on? Is the battle over a messy bedroom worth sacrificing a relationship? Is the disagreement about clothing preference really worth daily war? Now, to be clear, sin is never negotiable. Disrespect, deceit, defiance, those must be addressed firmly and consistently. But many matters are simply matters of preference. And we must ask ourselves, will this battle help my children love God more or just love me less? Sometimes it's okay to say yes. Sometimes it's okay to let them try and fail. What matters most is that we win their hearts, not just the argument. So, what does it mean to be a good parent? It doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean getting it right every time. It means being faithful, present, humble, intentional, and loving. It means choosing to see your child not as a project, not as a reflection of your pride, but as a soul that God has entrusted to your care, a soul that will grow slowly, steadily, and miraculously as you water, nurture, and love. So today I want to invite every parent to recommit, not to perfection, but to purpose, not to control, but to connection, not to fear, but to faith. God's way works. God's parenting style wins hearts. And if we'll follow his lead, patiently, relationally, lovingly, then we will reap the harvest in due time. May the Lord give us the strength and wisdom to train up our children in the way they should go.
Thank you so much for listening. If you would like more information, contact us by email at focusonthebible@icloud.com. That's focusonthebible@icloud.com. You can watch more lessons on our YouTube channel. Search Eastside in Scottsboro on YouTube. Thanks again. Have a great and wonderful day.